This drone footage shows the scale of farmer resistance to a renewable energy project in Victoria. In an escalating showdown with the state government, they've resorted to physically locking surveyors out. At the centre of the dispute is VNI West, a massive transmission line designed to carry electricity from wind and solar farms in Western Victoria to the state's major population centres. The government says it's a critical project to keep the lights on as the state retires coal and aims to transition to 95% renewable energy by 2035. Farmers say it's an assault on their land and they never gave their consent to the project. This week, the standoff hit a new level. Up to 400 farmers from across the state descended on a sheep and grain property near Kanya after VicGrid contractors arrived to begin surveying. Property owner Ben Duxon told us he won't back down, even after the Victorian government passed new laws giving authorised officers the power to force entry onto private land with a court order and police support. Under those laws, anyone who blocks access can face fines of up to $6,000 and potentially physical removal. The farmers leading the resistance say they're not intimidated and they believe sheer numbers will make enforcement impossible.
Our people that are fighting this are prepared to stand there and still deny them access, and if the police think it necessary, if that's what it comes to, they're the law enforcement officers, will allow them to do their job. If that's meaning fines, our people are quite acceptable of that, and but we'll still stay there and deny access.
Their objections go beyond access. At the core is a belief that the renewable heavy energy transition is being rushed, poorly designed, and unfairly loaded onto rural communities. Some argue that renewables alone can't deliver reliable baseload power, and they never gave their consent to carve up productive farmland for transmission lines. They say a broader mix, including coal and nuclear, has been pushed aside by ideology. And they reject claims that farmers are to blame for energy shortages, instead accusing governments of creating the crisis through policy.
To this day, I've never been told whether why we send all our coal around overseas and then the gas overseas and gets burnt over there, but we don't use it here. So, this is a government-induced energy crisis, and we're just calling it out for what it is, and we're prepared to stand at the gate and actually deny them access and try and get some education on this. Try and get some education into the cities and let them understand of what's actually happening. It's not farmers holding up progress, it's certainly not that. They keep saying it's a critical infrastructure build. It's not that, because it's going to, this VNI West has gone from 3.8 billion to 11.4 billion and still it hasn't been built.
This isn't an isolated flashpoint either. Last month, near Tediwadi, another group of farmers confronted contractors attempting to enter a sheep and cropping property.
You know you're doing the devil's work. You know it. I can see that look on your face. That smirk. And you?
There's no smirk.
You?
I'm just here to facilitate the survey. Okay.
That's what they want. They want the weak link.
I want him to answer
They'll look at you on the video. They'll
look
at you on the video and they'll come back to you.
Body cameras were rolling, tensions flared. The farmers say repeated visits now feel less like consultation and more like pressure. VicGrid's CEO says the surveys are designed to minimise the impact of the project on both the landscape and farming operations, and that voluntary access remains their preferred path. But on the ground, patience is evaporating.
Well, I'd love to see
These people don't want compensation.
Yeah.
It's not about money. They don't want their farm split in half with a transmission line.
You dudes are just the scapegoat for this. You know it.
What began as quiet resistance is now turning into organised mass protest, with farmers from across Victoria showing they are prepared to physically stand in the way. This is no longer just a planning dispute. It's shaping up as a full-blown rural rebellion against Australia's energy transition.